Okay, I know the lesson is relatively long, but we're more than halfway through it. So it's focusing mostly on the impact of social media on several fields. We spoke about training and development. We spoke about commerce and trade. We spoke about advertising. And today we need to proceed also. We spoke also about the social media and the world of work. And you told me that it's unfair for recruiters to check out the personal page of a person and based on his social media content to decide whether to hire him or not. Because many people in their personal life, they might have a lot of interests that contradict with their nature of work. But this doesn't have to do with being unproductive or with being a bad employee. Yeah. Also, we spoke about the effect of social media on politics. Here, I need to go back. Yeah, I guess we reached paragraph 13. We haven't read about it yet. This is page 172. So let's see what is the effect of social media on politics. You can read, but you need to sit here so that your voice becomes audible. Okay, bring your book. Yeah. Yes, go ahead, please. So we're reading now on page 172, paragraph 13. Yes. Okay. Muhammad? Yeah, go ahead, please.
The effect of social media on politics.
I'm recording, thank you. Did you crack a joke, Miss? Good. Yes.
A new study from Pew Research claims that 62% of people get their news from social media, with 18% doing so very often. In comparison to other media, social media's influence in political campaigns has increased tremendously. Skip a paragraph. In comparison to other media, social media's influence in political campaigns has increased
tremendously. Yeah, social networks.
Social networks play an increasingly important role in
electoral
politics. Because social media allows people to communicate with one another more freely, they are helping to create surprisingly influential social organizations among once marginalized groups.
Okay, now the question here today, if we have elections in Lebanon, they could be like parliamentary elections or elections related to municipalities. And okay, in this case, whenever a person runs for election, how does he organize a campaign? Does he only go on TV and radio stations? Or mainly today, social media, they prepare campaigns on social media. That's why you start seeing this person's plan, his project, his vision, okay, online. You see it through videos, through ads, through pop-up ads, through podcasts, through interviews, and so on. So this gives a chance for the marginalized groups. What do we mean by marginalized? No, when a person is marginalized, usually when you have a blank page in front of you, the margin, yeah, the margin is hamish. So marginalized people are people who are ignored, people who are not given much attention. So those people still, although they are marginalized in society, they still have a chance to express themselves and their opinions on social media.
Kamala Harris didn't win the elections in America via she's marginalized.
She wasn't marginalized. In America, you have two main parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. So she represented a political party opposing.
Yeah. She wasn't. هي كانت تابعة لشيء in a state or something.
Look, this is a long conversation, but at the end of the day, no matter who the president is, the people who control him are the same. So his conduct is going to be the same. The impact of social media on personal relationships. Marwan, in your opinion, how does social media impact or affect personal relationships? And when I say personal relationships, I'm not talking only about love relationships. It could be friendships, human relations. How does it affect them, in your opinion, positively or negatively? Okay, why is that? When you communicate with that person by sharing reels, sharing fun content, share stories, whatever. Okay, so this is in a way, maybe it facilitates the way in which you connect with others. Lamita, do you believe that social media has a positive impact on personal relationships? In what way? Same thing, just for fun? Okay, but okay, so heart-to-heart conversations, let it be. Okay, there is another belief here. Some people believe that social media improves or enhances personal relationships because you'll be sharing fun content and heart-to-heart conversations with others. Other people believe that no, many people pretend to have certain character traits behind the screen, but in real life, they are totally different people. So, do you believe that social media is a platform or is a place where we share our realities or fake images? Psychopaths? Exactly, you try to show your best image. You reflect your best image on others. Okay. And you hide your flaws. Good. So you try to reflect your best image, and Yayara, you hide your flaws. But in this case, would you be building an honest relationship or an honest friendship? No. Definitely not. That's why it is critical. Now, to communicate with people you know, it's in a way safer. But to communicate with a stranger online, then here it's a blind guess.
You might be communicating with people in real life, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, even people you know in real life might have a different, exactly, might have a different face, of course. So what about online friends? Excuse me? It all depends on the person. There are no rules here. Good. Good morning, online students. Your input is appreciated also. Okay, we go to paragraph 15. The impact of social media on society. In your opinion, guys, how can society be affected by social media in a way?
society?
Yeah.
It shapes society.
It shapes
In a good way or bad way?
in a bad way, Jihad. Why?
لا, I'm asking, is in a good way or a bad way?
Amma, that's what I want you to tell me. I'm asking about your perspective in this. Depending on the field and the topic. Okay, I agree. Guys, look, Abu Shaheen, when we say the impact of who smacked the glass like that? Miss, please, if you have anger issues, leave my class and express your anger issues outside. So the impact of social media on society. When we say the impact of social media on society, here we're not actually saying it's totally good or it's totally bad. Here there are no rules. It's all about how we use it. So in paragraph 15, they said almost a quarter of the world's population is now on Facebook. In the USA, nearly 80% of all internet users are on this platform. Because social networks feed off interactions among people, they become more powerful as they grow, definitely. At the end of the day, social media platforms, they feed on interactions. The more people use them, the more people interact via social media, the more popular they get. Today, what are the most influential platforms? Instagram, TikTok. We have a lot of platforms. Good. So this shows that the more people use them, the more influential they get. That's not necessarily, no. Today, for example, I can see a lot of fundraisers, a lot of humanitarian initiatives, tutorials, a lot of rich Yeah.
or these don't be in a negative way.
Of course.
يعني في حدا يقول I'm helping people for example because of whatever.
I know there
There
are,
is money and
I
they
know,
take money.
unfortunately, definitely, there is nothing that is totally good or totally bad. It's all about how we use it. Exactly. Thanks to the internet, this is paragraph 16, each person with marginal views can see that he's not alone. And when these people find one another via social media, they can do things, create memes, publications, and enter online worlds that bolster their worldview and then break into the mainstream. Without social media, social, ethical, environmental, and political ills will have minimal visibility. Increased visibility of issues has shifted the balance of power from the hands of a few to the masses. Now, today, if you have an interest in cooking, you can find people who share the same interest like you. You start finding them on specific pages, on specific groups, on specific channels, and so on. So it's a way social media helps in making people get together to bolster their view and to break out into the mainstream as one team. Like we are a group of people who enjoy workout, a group of people who enjoy cooking, a group of people who share the same music taste, a group of people who share the same taste in fashion, political views, blah, blah. So they start, social media starts in categorizing people according to their interests. And this makes you feel that I'm not alone. I have a lot of people who share my views. So here we are shifting the power from the hands of a few to the masses. The masses are the big numbers. People start categorizing themselves, and because media is in the hands of everyone, so the masses are in control. Despite all that, one can't deny the fact that social media is slowly killing real activism and replacing it with slacktivism. While social media activism brings an increased awareness about societal issues, questions remain as to whether this awareness is translated into real change. How many times we see people talking about real life topics, bringing up those topics, sharing opinions, expressing thoughts, but at the same time, if they don't translate these thoughts into real change, then it's worthless, it's useless. Okay, so we need not to confuse real activism with slacktivism. Slacktivism, it's when you just share thoughts and you're sitting on your couch, you're doing nothing. But an activist is a person who raises awareness, he organizes campaigns, initiatives, takes action, does something. This is how you become an doing something. Like for example, today, when I say every Lebanese person should help his fellow Lebanese brothers, and you're staying at home, you're doing nothing. Okay. No, not really, because at the end of the day, okay, if you don't have the financial ability, at least you can volunteer your efforts. Yeah. So this is how you become an activist. I mean, you cannot call yourself an activist if you're just sharing a thought. Yeah.
هو السوشيال ميديا انه you have to accept something انه مثلا اذا طلع واحد صور انه عم بيساعد.
No, I'm not talking about fake images. I'm not talking about fake images.
هو اذا قعد على الكاوتش وقال
Try to express in English.
If he sat on a couch who told you that go help others وما بعرف شو
He's giving instructions here?
No, he's
not his instructions.
Everyone knows what to do, but I mean, there are many people who just sit there doing nothing and just giving people not orders, but I mean telling people do this and don't do that and do this, and he's just doing nothing. Yeah. Influencers, what?
They should feel when they help.
Definitely not. But at least, and in case they want to film it, they can blur the faces of the people being. Okay, but that's not our topic. Look, Look, guys, of course, we have to be very selective when it comes to what we post on social media, especially when it comes to helping others and making change. You can do this without hurting people's dignity or personal feelings, okay? Some argue that social sharing has encouraged people to use computers and mobile phones to express their concerns on social issues without actually having to engage actively with campaigns in real life. And this happens a lot, especially in Lebanon. Lynn said properly. So you just speak about social issues, you express your opinions, you express your concerns. Do you do anything to make any change? Nothing. So this is very limited when it comes to making change. And even like pressing a like or a share button, you're not doing anything in that. This is minimal change. Okay, look at this, please. Caricature here on page 173. The lady is telling him, so you're gonna change the world with an online petition, a Facebook status update, and a couple of retweets. He told her, you're right, I should probably share a few more links. So what do we call this? No, actually, it's ironic. It's ironic, definitely. Like she's telling him, would you be able to make a change if you sign? Remember online petitions? For example, ban smoking in Lebanon. People start signing the petition online. Like, what on earth is this? So basically, those are ineffective, or at least their effect is very, very limited. We proceed to page 174. No, these are slang. Okay, you don't use them in formal writing, no. This is a very human reaction, paragraph 18, when people are given options that absolve them from responsibility to act. A 2013 study by the University of British Columbia's Soldier School of Business found that when people are presented with the option of liking a social cause, they use this to opt out of actually committing time and money to a charitable cause. Yani today, if I tell you there are many street children who need help, and then you go and like the post, yay. Did you do anything to change their reality? But in reality, those kids are still sleeping on the street. But even if people saw them more, we need an initiative to give them food, give them shelter, give them education. Okay, maybe it helps in shedding light on this issue, but does it really help? I mean, you need to take quick action when it comes to this. Exactly. Lynn, you were saying something. It reaches a wider audience. No. I mean, today, I'm a journalist. I saw children on the street selling tissue boxes. Okay? I've prepared a certain documentary, let's say, about them. I mean, for this documentary to spread and to get views and to reach out to people, those kids might spend 2 more months on the streets. So, I mean, when it comes to social media, it's very important to highlight certain issues, but it's not enough to click a like or a share button.
The only case that
what can you do?
Take immediate action here. This has to be reported to NGOs, to the Ministry of... take action.
Yeah, it's not shit. It's the same.
No, you need, I mean, to notify them about this issue, to highlight it in front of officials who can make rapid change, immediate change. Guys, please. Yes, it does. Of course. What about also making financial contributions? Do you think social media is a good place to share financial contributions.
You can get scammed.
You can get scammed, but there are some reliable websites like GoFundMe or whatever, haven't you?
I did.
Yeah.
كانت تطلع في الجوال.
Yeah, but these are real.
Not all.
The people behind it are fake. But I mean, as a website, it doesn't steal your ID. It doesn't. Oh, that's something else. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that. True. There are some, as he said, there are some websites that have the same addresses online, but they hack into your personal info, your wallets. Yeah. Yeah. True. Oops. The moral challenges of social media. What do we mean by the moral challenges? Moral challenges. What do we mean by moral challenge? Okay, things related to your set of values. Good. So anything that presents a moral challenge, it means it's promoting something fishy. Let's see. Social media has been blamed. Please, let's focus on this. Social media has been blamed for promoting many social ills, one of which is cyberbullying. Are we all familiar with cyberbullying? Bullying people online? Good. Teenagers have a need to fit in, to be popular, and to outdo others, to be better than others. This process was challenging long before the advent of social media. Add Facebook, Twitter is no longer there, it's X, Snapchat and Instagram into the mix, and you suddenly have teenagers being subjected, feeling pressure to grow up too fast in an online world. So teenagers, ya Muhammad Fakhruddin, they are people who want to fit in, they want to prove themselves, to show others their real identity. So they use social media platforms as methods to grow up too fast in an online world. Michael Ham, a researcher from the University of Alberta, conducted a study that showed the effects of social media on bullying. 23% of teens report being targeted, and 15% said they bullied someone on social media. So teenagers are either bullying others or being bullied. Good.
10-year-olds, for example.
Okay.
They have access to internet.
Yeah.
Let's say anyone هلا أنا بفتح my laptop or anything I just search for exercise.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Teenagers in general, they're using social media, but there are people who are even younger than teenagers and they have access to it. Again? Wrong info? Okay, they shouldn't have access to it. Exactly. But you know, they are now increasing the measures to check the ID and whatsoever. They're doing this in many countries. I hope Lebanon also bans the use of social media for children under the age of, let's say, 14 or whatever. Yeah. So it's a moral challenge, which is the lack of privacy. It's a moral challenge. Stalking, identity theft, personal attacks, and misuse of information are some of the threats faced by the users of social media. Most of the time, the users themselves are to blame, as they end up sharing content that should not be in the public eye. The confusion arises from a lack of understanding of how the private and public elements of an online profile actually work. Unfortunately, by the time private content is deleted, it's usually too late and can cause problems in people's personal and professional lives. So do you believe that people should be sharing their content publicly or privately? But what if one of their contacts is someone who's gonna misuse their content? Yeah, to whom you accept, of course. All right, guys, the bottom line. Please know I want everybody to be fully attentive because this is the conclusion of the selection. and it sheds light on its main idea, so please remain focused. It's been said that information is power. Without a means of distributing information, people cannot harness the power. One positive impact of social media is in the distribution of information in today's world. Platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and others have made it possible to access information at the click of a button. Okay, this is a benefit. To click a button and to access info, that's a benefit. But what to share in public, that's an issue. Research conducted by Parsley shows that the life expectancy of a story posted on the web is 2.6 days, compared to 3.2 days when a story is shared on social media. That's a difference of 23%, which is significant when you consider that billions of people use the internet daily. This means that the longer the information is in circulation, the more discussion it generates, and the greater the impact of social media. Even if, ya Marwan, even if your story disappears, it still remains, its content remains on social media. So people, for example, if you're talking about war in Lebanon, the content that you are sharing remains there. That's why this topic keeps on emerging in your social media accounts and pop-up ads. Like the algorithm, that's it. While the world would be a much slower place without social media, it's caused harm as well as good. However, the positive impact of social media is astronomical and far surpasses the ills associated with sharing. This shows that the benefits and the positive impact of social media is surpassing the ills. It's much more than the negative side. At the end of the day, sharing is about getting people to see and respond to content. As long as the content is still relevant and the need for information still exists, it's always worthwhile for any organization using social media to keep publishing. So the more people keep on using it, the more relevant things will be, the more people will be following social media pages to get info. And this will keep social media publishing more and more. It will keep it alive, and it will keep people depending more and more on it as a source of info. That's it, guys. We are done with explaining the lesson. Please, tomorrow we need to start working on those questions. I want you to work on part A questions 1 till 5 for tomorrow, so that we can exchange the ideas together. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. Not for tomorrow, but for Monday. For Monday, I'm sorry. Yes.